Hey, good morning, everybody. How you guys doing? Hey, welcome back to the JMFG podcast. First and foremost, I want to say, hey, thank you for everybody for supporting the show. I think the show's doing pretty good. I think I'm getting great reviews from everybody that's telling me they love the show, they don't like the show, what they like better about the show. So keep all that positive and negative feedback because I read it, I look at it, I want to do everything as a podcast host to make sure I'm giving the viewers what you guys want. Having said that, for my first 100 viewers or my first 100 subscribers, please give me you guys' address. I know I've sent shirts out to the people that got me their address. Thank you guys for all the pictures that you guys have sent me. Also, go on your social media, share your post of your shirt, JMFG Podcast. We'll help them through sharing because at the end of this, we're going to definitely do some type of prize giveaway for the best shirt picture that we get. Having said that, I want to move on to our next guest that I got coming on. Good friend of mine, flew in from Chicago a couple of days ago. We've been hanging out, just talking, having a good time, eating a lot of food, and took him out on a golf course today, scuffed him up pretty good. So I don't know how good of a friend he is now, but he's a pretty good friend when he got here. But now, he's a little sore, so his chair's a little warm, but we got him a little seat cushion. But with no further ado, I'm going to go and let my boy Mike introduce himself. Mike?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm Micheal Parks from the Tiara M Parks Uplift Foundation, and I'm here to tell my story about my daughter who was tragically killed in 2016, and I started a foundation in her name to try to keep her memory alive and to help other folks. It's just something that my mother instilled in me, and that's something that I was trying to pass along to her. And it's something that I had to do to start the healing, because it's something hard and difficult to live with after you lose a child.
All right. And I've said this on a couple episodes, Mike, about not letting people names get, not letting the names fade away, as I like to say. And I've had multiple guests on that lost family members, and in the military we do a lot of remembrance and things of that nature, so that we always say those names and make sure that people don't forget, because it's easy after a while. The people that are directly impacted, they don't forget. But the people that, they don't know who Tiara Parks was, they don't know who your daughter was.
Yeah.
So if they continue to hear her name, long after you're gone, long after I'm gone, long after everybody's gone, her name will still live on.
Yeah.
And having said that, so, I know you're from Chicago. What do you actually do in Chicago?
Well, actually, I work in law enforcement. I'm a deputy sheriff with Cook County.
Okay.
I've been doing that job for about 26 and a half, 27 years now.
Well, first off, thank you for your service. I like to tell law enforcement guys when I see them, thank you for your service. And I've said it on a few previous podcasts, I think law enforcement, teachers, anybody that's doing that servant job, one, I think you guys are underpaid.
Yeah.
And two, I feel like you guys don't get the recognition that you guys deserve. Because, for military guys, we go away, we fight wars, we come back. There's always some type of celebration. You see it on the news, but every day you guys are putting on those uniforms, and you're serving here in, our own backyards where we need that protection and service. So thank you for that, brother.
Appreciate it.
Now, having said that, I was looking up the other day, and I think from January 1st, 2016 till December 31st, 2020, there was 3,276 people killed in fatality shootings in Chicago. Like, how's that? That's a lot of people, man.
Yeah, it is. It's become a serious epidemic in the Chicago area, the gun violence. I can remember when my daughter died in 2016. She died April 23rd, 2016. And I remember that she was the 171st person to die that year from gun violence.
So from January to April?
From January to April, she was the 171st person to die from gunshot wounds.
Oh my God, man. So that's 4 months, 171st person in 4 months.
In 4 months.
It's 30 days in a month. I'm just doing math. That makes no sense. That's a lot of people. That's 40 people a month.
Yeah.
40 plus, actually, people a month.
Yeah. I think 2016, if I'm not mistaken, was a record year for murders in Chicago. That number has been steady for a while. So, you know, we're up against the wall trying to figure out a way to reduce those numbers.
Right.
Law enforcement is doing all they can to try to get as many guns off the streets as they can, but you know, right now it's a tall task.
Right. I can understand that. Having said that, you know, like, I know me, a country boy growing up in South Georgia, you know, when I grew up, we were always out fishing, hunting, tearing up stuff in the woods, riding three-wheelers, riding dirt bikes. That's kind of what we did. Do you see just these kids not having stuff to do, like no extracurricular activities or no summer activities? Or
I think that plays a big role in some of the decisions that they make. You know, as far as the activities that they do get into, the people that they hang around, some of the habits that they develop because they don't have that kind of structure. I can remember as a kid myself, we had a lot of structure during the summers and you know, the off time from school, after school programs, things like that. Kids aren't quite as involved in those type of activities. You know, you still have the sports teams, the AAUs, basketball teams, baseball teams, that type of stuff. But for, you know, regular kids who aren't athletes or things like that, you know, there's not many programs out there to keep these kids off the street, to develop other interests for them. So, you know, I think that it's disheartening because, you know, it just leaves them wide open to be influenced by people who don't have their best interests at heart, you know, who aren't trying to guide them in the right direction to have a bright future.
Right.
So, but, you know, I think we could do something. We have to, when I say we, I'm speaking of the entire community. I'm talking about the politicians. I'm talking about the business people.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about, you know, the parents, the neighbors.
Oh, yeah. It's a village.
Everybody in the community. We have to come together and figure out a way to reduce their time out in the streets creating chaos or just being influenced or just seeing it. You know, sometimes when kids are young, they get to see, when they see older kids doing things, that sort of gets in their head and they think it's cool.
Right.
You know, and if that's their role models, of course they're going to go out there and they're going to try to do what they see their role models.
Right. It's so almost like with sports.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I figure if we get some more programs out there, we get some more adults out there and get involved with these kids and show them that there is a better way. There's more to life than just the things that they see on videos and listen and violent rap music and things like that. You know, there's a chance that we could turn these kids around and make them productive.
And one thing that, when I was looking up on the internet, just like murders throughout America in inner cities, it's almost like people don't even value life anymore. It's like, you know, I was reading it where kids are just walking up to people and pulling the trigger, and I'm like, there's nothing that I can see that's cool about that. Like and maybe I'm, you know, from the old school, but to me, you throw your hands up, you draw a square, you fight, you duke it out. That's it, you duke it out. But now kids are like, you know, picking up a gun and killing somebody, that's not tough. It doesn't show no part of being tough whatsoever.
Not at all. You know, I think it's like we have to teach kids, like we were taught, how to resolve their differences. Right. You know, when there is a beef or you know, whatever word that the kids are using now to describe, you know, conflict between one another, we have to find a way to show them how to you know, solve those problems. You know, whether it's talking it out or talking to someone else to mediate it, but it doesn't have to go directly to the violence. Nowadays, it's like everything just goes straight to violence, and even with that, too many innocent people are getting caught up in the middle of the way in the way that they're trying to solve their differences. You have people just shooting randomly at a crowd of people, and most of the time their intended target never gets hit, but like in the case of my daughter, wasn't targeted, just some guys shooting randomly at another group of guys, and she getting out of her car. The minute she steps out of her car, boom, bullet to the back of the head. So,
now, having said that, take me through that night, if you remember. If it's, I understand, and it's hard, and like my dad used to always say, no parent should ever have to bury their child, and you've experienced that. So I can't, just like one of my guests on here, Louise, I told her I can't even hear you sit here and say, I understand what you're going through. And you hear people say, I understand what you're going through, because I don't. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. I can. But if you could, like, for our viewers, for our listeners, talk us through, like, that night. Do you remember exactly, and I'm pretty sure you do, exactly what you were doing that night, April 23rd?
Yeah. I was out of town at my fraternity's convention. We were having a district convention.
Okay.
I was out of town, close by. I was in Indiana at the time, and about 45 minutes outside of Chicago.
Okay.
And I got a call, and on the call, I was told that my daughter had just got shot. So I hurried up and left the convention and headed right to the hospital. And on my way to the hospital, I found out that she had passed away before I could make it to the hospital.
So now, when you first got that call, as a parent, like right there when you said that, even as a parent, my whole stomach just tightened up.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, like, what went through your mind, man? Like, did it feel like just a bad dream, or?
Yeah, I was praying and hoping that it was just some, misinformation, that maybe the facts weren't what was being told to me.
Right.
And you're just numb. You don't know. It's hard to describe it, honestly. I can't really say exactly how I felt, because I was just stunned. I couldn't believe it, but I wanted to get there.
Right.
And I wanted to stay in some sort of control, because I knew the rest of my family was on their way to the hospital at that time, and I wanted to be in control, and I wanted to keep them calm, and I wanted to find out everything I could before I told them what I knew.
Right.
So when I got to the hospital, I found out that in fact it was true, and I'm the only person that knew, outside of the medical personnel that was there and the police officers that were there. And I can remember being placed in this, big room. It was a huge room. A lot of family was coming, a lot of friends, a lot of my daughter's friends, a lot of my fraternal brothers started coming, and it had to be at least 200 or 300 people surrounding that hospital and in that room, because they cared so much about me, they cared so much about my daughter.
Just one big family.
Yeah, because she was well liked. I've always had a big support system.
Right.
Long before I started my foundation, and that comes from the high school that I went to, the friends that I made in high school, my fraternity. We got a big loving family. It's easy for me to make friends.
Right.
Just a big support group. My colleagues from work.
Right.
And, you know, so as soon as the news spread, as people started to come to support.
That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
And so it's sad, man. I say this all the time, even with my family. And I know they're watching, so they're going to hear me say this. I say it all the time. We always wait till a tragic accident or a tragedy to happen for us to come together.
Yeah.
And my father used to always say, let's separate the living while we're living.
Yeah.
Not, you know, when they pass. So, but it's good that people do come and support, because you need that when something like this truly happens. And, you know, I always say my thoughts and prayers go out to you, and you know that just as well as anybody else that is going through any type of tragedy. But after that, you know, after you realize that and you go tell the family and friends, how is everybody's reaction? Everybody's just probably just like you, stunned, huh?
Yeah, you know, stunned, in disbelief, you know, deeply hurt. You know, most of her friends from her high school and childhood friends, you know, they were there. And I felt so bad for them because, you know, my daughter, you know, she was developing the same types of networks that that took me through high school and took me through college and things like that. So she, you know, she had a real nice, tight, close-knit circle of friends, and they were all there. And these were kids that I watched grow up with her.
Right.
So to watch them feel the grief of losing her, it hurt me.
Right.
You know, but I had to keep it together. You know, I fought back my feelings that night, trying to comfort everyone else.
Right.
Because they loved her so, and you know, I just didn't want to see them hurt.
Right. And so Tierra's what, 23, right? I'm sorry, brother. You good, bro?
Sometimes it gets hard to talk about it.
Oh, I got you, brother. I got you.
To go back to that night.
I got you.
But, you know, it's therapy for me, though. You know, because I don't talk about it a lot. And
I'm so glad you're here sharing this. So for the people that are watching this show, you know, like 23-year-old daughter killed by gun violence. Mike's here as a deputy sheriff. You know, he's there to serve and protect. And I know as a father for you, it was probably, how can I serve and protect when I can't even serve and protect my own daughter?
Yeah.
So you being here, brother, I feel it. And we've been together for 2 or 3 days now.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And I know it hurts. So we're going to fast forward and try to move forward that, because I don't even want you to go back that night. What I would ask you now, what are you doing now to make sure Tierra legacy lives on? And what are you doing to help and support her friends and everybody else in the community right now?
Well, you know, I had to find a way to find some sort of therapy for myself. Right. And in the same token, I wanted, you know, to never forget my daughter or any of her friends. So I came up with the idea to start a foundation. So I gathered up several of my friends from high school, you know, and we started the foundation. And the goal of the foundation was to help as many kids that we could that went through what we went through. Right. And I say we went through because they went through it with me. Right. And so there's, you know, we talked about the numbers. So we know that there's a lot of people out there that were suffering from the same type of grief, the gun violence, and how it affects kids. And we wanted to try and curb some of the effects of that. Right. You know, we wanted to give them positive uplift. So that's how we got, you know, the name Uplift to come into the foundation, because you gotta, you know, give them hope to keep going forward, to push past some of the negative things that have that they've experienced, the things that they've seen things that have happened to them.
Right.
So we figured, okay, one way to do that is to encourage education.
Right.
So we had the education piece, we had the uplift piece. We talked about mentoring the kids. So we would talk to kids, go out to schools. We were invited out, talk to kids, and give them things to aspire to.
Right.
You know, we tell them about our careers, you know, the life path that we've taken. Encourage them and let them know that they can do the same. And
right.
you know, there's nothing that they couldn't achieve that they dreamed of. So, you know, that has been the focus to
right.
just, you know, put these type of things in them, you know, pour into them the same ideals and the things that were poured into us as children, you know. So it was do the same things that others did for you. They got you
camps
to the point,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
get you to the point where you got, you know, where you are, what made you successful. So we wanted to concentrate on that. So we started doing fundraisers to raise scholarship money and to be able to give kids going away to college scholarship money to give them a start to buy books, to help them out, help their parents out who may be struggling, to buy computers so that they could
right.
have the tools that they needed to succeed, and encourage them and talk to them and mentor them through their first year of college, to help guide them through. Because a lot of kids that have come through the foundation, sometimes some of them are like, you know, first generation college students.
Right.
You know, there's nobody to guide them through the process. They have no clue.
Because they're the first ones.
First ones getting there. So we've been through that.
Right.
And we know how difficult it was for us. So we want to make that easy for them, that transition easy for them, leaving high school where your parents and your guardians take care of you. They pretty much make sure that you do everything that you're responsible for, you know.
Right.
So they ride you, they make sure that you do what you have to do. But when you go to college, you become independent instantly.
Yep.
You know, and it becomes difficult. So sometimes you need someone to talk to when you run into problems that you don't know how to handle, maybe having some difficulty in a class or something. You know, there's always someone in the foundation that can talk to them and get them over whatever.
Whatever the hurdle may be at the time.
Yeah, whatever the hurdle or obstacle is for them, you know, help them get past it.
And that's awesome.
Just let them know we're there for them.
And when did you actually start the foundation?
I started the foundation. I drafted the articles for the foundation 6 to 7 months after her death, but it officially was incorporated January 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 2017. What are we in? 2023 now?
Yeah.
So it's 6 years?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yep.
So today, do you know how much roughly or how many students you've actually helped rough to date?
Yeah. About 75
awesome.
kids that we've given scholarships and computers to. And we've done other things in the community. We've donated to community centers. We've bought sewing machines for a sewing machine program.
That's awesome.
In one of the neighborhoods on the south side where that program was struggling and needed some help. In order to keep some young girls in the program, they needed sewing machines to teach them how to sew and things like that. So we donated to make sure that program could get up and running.
And you do you do different fundraisers throughout the year, or you rely strictly on donations? Or
the first 2 years we did some fundraisers, you know, through a few fundraising parties or cocktail socials, selling raffle tickets, you know, things that we could think of to just generate some funds, you know, to try to help as many kids as we could. And then the COVID epidemic
kind of slowed everything down.
And that was one of those things where, oh, what are we going to do now?
Right.
You know, how are we going to raise some money? You know, so I came up with an idea. I approached one of my frat brothers, who's a DJ, very popular DJ in the Chicago area. And I was talking with him. You know, he, chats with me from time to time. And I was explaining to him that the problem that I was having. And we came up with the idea to do a virtual fundraiser.
Nice.
So, he put together a virtual fundraiser, and we were able to send about 5 kids to school that next semester that came up. So, it was very successful, and it was just a great idea. So, we always try to think of, creative ways to raise funds. So, that kept us afloat, kept us going. And, towards the end of the pandemic, we had to think of something else. Okay, let's get something fresh, something new out here and see what we can do to try to, help more kids.
Right.
So I decided to throw a golf outing. Had no idea what I was doing. That never golf.
I can contest he had no idea what he was doing, because he got skin up on that golf course by me today. I mean, he got skin up. He can barely sit down right now. So you absolutely had no idea what you were doing. So
yeah. So I figured, I said, I don't know how to do this, but I'm gonna make it work.
Let's do it,
because I need to do this for these kids. I'm out here, doing everything I can to help these kids, and I'm gonna figure this out.
Right.
And I did, and I pulled off, the tournament. I got a lot of support, and it turned out well. And I've been doing it every year for the past 3 years.
Right.
So in the last 3 years, we've done very well with the golf outing. But it could always be bigger and better. And we've always accepted online donations through the foundation's website.
And what is the foundation's website?
It's Tiara Parks, upliftfoundation.org. You can go there, you can read her story. You can see some of the things that we've done with the foundation. It's
and for all my viewers out there, all my family and friends and followers, we'll definitely have some at the end of this. I'll have the editor put her link to it, or the link to the organization. You can click on that, you can donate, and Mike's email address and stuff's on there too, so you can reach out to him if you have more questions. It is a nonprofit organization, so for all businesses, friends, family, if you're looking for a good organization to donate to, this is one of those ones I definitely think is doing great things. I was trying to get to the golf tournament this year, but bought my ticket, but I couldn't make it. But flew Mike in yesterday, so he still got skin up on the golf course, so he couldn't run from that. But I'm definitely going to try to push it out as much as we can.
Yeah, we do the golf outing the first Friday of every June. Mm-hmm. I try to keep it consistent, so it'll be in people's minds when the event happens. So always the first Friday of June will be the standing date for the golf outing.
First Friday in June, everybody. So I know all my Brotherhood brothers are watching from the Brotherhood of Warriors Golf Association. We didn't get a chance, or from the Brotherhood Golf, I should say, not association, but we didn't get a chance to make it to the tournament this year. Mm-hmm. But I know Brad and some of the guys, Julio, Greg, and Jim Herring, a lot of us was talking back and forth trying to get there, and I know Gene was there. But next year, or this year coming up, we'll definitely, or next June rather, we'll definitely have some teams there. Okay. And if we can't play, brother, we'll be there to support. If you need us to, put out sodas or whatever. Yeah. So I'm calling out all my Brotherhood of Warriors that was down in Florida, because Mike had the luxury of coming and hanging out with Florida. He got scuffed up there too by Johnny Glenn. But he came back again. The guys just like getting beat up. So for all the guys that met Mike, now you're hearing his story. For all my Brotherhood Warrior brothers, we're going to definitely support Mike. We're going to go out. We're going to put some teams together. Come to Chicago, brother. We're going to play.
Yeah.
If you need us to, whatever you need us to do. Because I know this year you said you did a brunch this year.
Yeah.
Because Tiara's birthday was what?
Yeah, Tiara's birthday is August 5th. So along with the scholarships and the fundraisers that we do, we always try to have an award brunch or lunch for all the Raising Hope recipients, and we do it on her birthday because her birthday generally falls the first weekend in August, would be August 5th. So it's always on or around her birthday. It's that Saturday, that first Saturday in August every year, and that's when we have the brunch. That's when we present the kids with their scholarship checks, computers, and I always give them an award, just something that they could have and they can look at every day and be proud of what they've accomplished. Right. Because a lot of our recipients, they just want to be recognized for their hard efforts. I mean, not all of our recipients are 4.0 students. That's not a requirement. The only requirement for our recipients is the need and the effort.
That's it.
The need and the effort. If they're showing effort and they're trying and they want to be successful, our foundation is going to do all that we can to make those kids successful. We're going to give them the hope that they need, to get to that next level. We like to say our motto is raising hope to a higher ground.
I like it.
So that's what we concentrate on. Raise their hope to a higher ground so they can stand tall and stand above the conflict and the setbacks and all those things that they had to go through their lives. So we just want to put them on give them a good footing to have a good foundation to start a new life, a better life.
That's good. And one thing I will say, Mike's humble, and the last couple of days that he's been here in North Carolina hanging out with me, I've had a chance to actually get to know Mike a lot better, because when you beat a man down, you learn a lot about a man's character. Now, I beat Mike down, but Mike got to share a lot of things with me. And one thing Mike did yesterday when we was driving, we were heading up to Greenville, and Mike actually showed me. He was like, "Johnny, look what I just got." And that email Mike showed me was this girl that got a scholarship award from Mike, and she wrote down all these things that basically she's accomplished so far in her freshman year, and why she was so thankful for the scholarship. And I'm getting chills, man. And I read that, and I told Mike, I was like, "Man, you were changing lives one life at a time." Just like here at the JMFG podcast, we're changing stories or lives one story at a time. Yeah. And when I read this stuff, to all my viewers, just to hear, I don't know if you have tutorial pages on your website, but that's something definitely on your website. Share, man, what this young lady has accomplished is unbelievable. And she was like, "Mr. Parks, I just want to thank you." Yeah. And what really touched my heart at the end of this, I'm reading it, this little girl goes, "Mr. Parks, what I really want to say is I'm so sorry I didn't offer you water when you came to my house." And I read that, dude, instantly. Even now I'm tearing up because it was like, this kid is so appreciative. And I'm looking at everything she's accomplishing. Half of the words and stuff she accomplished, my country grew up from, my redneck country grew up from Georgia. I'm like, what does that even mean when she did? I'm like, I don't know what that is, but that's good stuff. Yeah. And she, she's entered in all these, she's taking part in all these different clubs, and she's going to Alabama to be in like what was it? They were doing like a debate club or something. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. And she had like this whole laundry list of things. And near the end of it, it was like, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. I didn't offer you water when you brought my scholarship to the house, and I couldn't make the brunch. And I was like, this is a good, humble kid right there. That all she wanted, like you said, she wanted an opportunity. And look at what she's taking that opportunity, and she is running with it.
Yeah. There are a ton of kids with unbelievable accomplishments. These kids are coming through this, through our program, and they're coming back, they're helping out, they're giving back, because I always tell them, pay it forward.
You got to
give it back. And there's one particular young lady who's now 1L, and that means she's a first year law student.
That is so awesome, man.
You know, so I'm proud of her. Several of our recipients have graduated from college, went on to graduate school, and just doing phenomenal things.
That's good stuff.
Phenomenal things. And I even invite these former recipients to come back and talk during the brunch, because it's about them. And I want the new kids that are coming in, the new recipients, to see
what's capable, what they can do.
Exactly.
What's possible.
And I let it come from the mouths of the kids that came through it.
Right.
And they get to tell them, you know, what it meant for the support that we provide, what it means, you know, to help them get to that point.
Right.
And now they're doing exactly what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
So we're building an army.
I like it.
Now I got younger kids that could speak to them much more effectively than I can.
Right.
Because, you know, they're closer in age, more influential, because, you know, they can relate closer to them. It's not like your parent talking to you. You know, it's someone that you respect. Say, hey, you know, he's not much older than me. I can do what he's doing, or I can do what she did, or, you know, it's like a big sister who's encouraging.
You make role models, brother.
Yeah,
positive role models.
Exactly, and that alone just warms my heart when I see those kids, and I just let them go. I just, you know, introduce them, and I sit back and I let them talk. Just let them talk, and they polished. I mean, these kids come out polished. I just sit there and just like, wow, these kids are just smart.
That's awesome.
These kids are just great, and it gives me the energy to do more.
Right.
You know, to not quit and just keep plugging away, because it's hard. You know, it's hard to try to raise funds, and you know, because your heart is so big. You want to help everybody, Johnny, and it's like, sometimes you can look up and say, oh, we're not doing well right now. You know, how can we get people to start, you know, sending in donations, and how can we get the funds up so we can help kids, you know? So, you know, when you see that, it just gives you the energy to just keep going.
Now, just out of curiosity, as a nonprofit organization, because I know you say most kids you provide laptops and stuff because they're going to schools. What about places like Best Buy? Have you reached out to places like Best Buy, Dell? Are they willing to donate, like, even if it's just 5 computers?
I've went that route. I've tried, you know, to come up empty a lot. Yeah. You know, it's.
Here's what I say: keep grinding, keep trying.
I keep, you know, but I have went that route, Johnny. I've written letters, you know, emails, all that kind of stuff, you know, beg, crying, whatever, you know, whatever I can do, whatever they can send, I'm willing to take anything. You know, but, you know, mostly it's just from whatever funds we could, you know, gather up from donations, generate through, you know,
fundraisers and stuff.
Fundraisers and things like that. That's what keeps us afloat, you know.
So here's what I'm gonna say. My sister, I'm gonna send a shout out to my sister Deidre Glenn here. Her and the people that were helping her, I don't know everybody's names, but she called me last week, and they do, every year they do like a book bag giveaway. You know, they stock it full of, you know, tablets and stuff. And she was like, hey bro, you wanna donate this? I'm like, heck yeah. So I donated to it, and she's like, hey, we bought this many book bags. We gave out like 50 book bags to all these kids. And my sister was like, we were doing it. There were other people in Bainbridge that was doing it, our little hometown in Georgia. And so I told my sister, I was like, hey, you know, why don't y'all collaborate that? And what I would say is, I know what you're doing is an awesome thing. But I think as a nation, as people, as humans, as a United States, the more we can collaborate, my dad used to always say, it takes a village. The more we can collaborate, the better. So what I like, and what I would challenge is, you got inner city New York, you got inner city Chicago, you got inner city Detroit, you got inner city whatever the city is. And I know there's crime in all these big cities, but because kids don't have a lot to do. And there's probably programs that are not the same as yours, but similar, or nonprofits that are similar, but not. So what I challenge all my followers out there now in these big cities that they know there's something similar like this, let's reach out to Mike, and Mike reach out to them. Let's network. Let's get these guys tied in each other, and let's figure out how we bring all this stuff together. So now it gets bigger, and now Tierra name spreads bigger. Because like you just said earlier on the show, there's families out there, you can look at it right now and pull up families that have went through the same thing you're going through right now, that lost a child, lost a husband, lost a daughter, lost a wife to gang violence or a drive-by shooting or whatever it may be. So why not let's conglomerate all this stuff, bring it all together, and then how do we make it more bigger, you know what I mean? Because right now, like I'm in North Carolina, you in Chicago, I'm gonna do everything I can. How do we blend Chicago and North Carolina together?
Make that network stretch out.
Make that network stretch out, and now it's just bigger and it's hit every. Just like I told my sister, and the only reason why I bring this up, my sister was telling me at the book bag giveaway, there's a woman that, I don't know the woman, that she got 2 book bags, and at first it was giving you had to be present. She got 2, took them, and then came back to get some more book bags. And I told my sister, and I was like, and then they saw the same woman at another place in the town. I go, well, right there, y'all doing a great thing, but why don't y'all all come together and give it out? And I think you said this, why not the day the kids go register, y'all do it? Because the parents are taking their kids to register, the kids are there, they get a book bag. And to my hometown next year, and I said this to my sister, and I think she put it out, I'm saying it not all my followers, whatever y'all raise, I will donate 10% book bags or whatever they donate. So if they donate 50, I'll donate 5. They donate 100, I'll donate 10. It'll probably be more like 20%. And the kids are gonna get a JMFG t-shirt inside that book bag, because I believe in helping through sharing. But not only that, I feel like if we start to branch that out, and like I tell my sister now, you branch that out with our little town, you branch it out with another little town, then with another little town. Guess what? If this town or this team can resource 100 book bags, you only resource 20, you put them together, you split them up, you got 60 and 60. Now you got more book bags to give out. They got 100 notebooks, you only got 50, you put them together 150, you got 75 apiece. And basically, I'm saying, with Mike, of course, I'm going to donate, and guys in the Brotherhood are going to donate, and all my followers that I know will help and donate. But if we look across inner city America, if we look at what's happening to our youth right now, it is sickening and it is sad. And just to see, for me, being a military guy, you being a law enforcement guy, all we want to see is our generation do better than what we had. I watched my mother and father. We talked about this the last 3 or 4 days. We watched our mother and father. You was telling me that, which put me in tears. Your mom gave up bus fares and walked to work 5 miles so you could have a better education. My dad used to tell me I walked 10 miles of school and work both uphill both ways. And I'd be like, all right, that makes no sense. And then I get don't talk back, But at the end of the day, our parents sacrifice that for our kids. You're sacrificing that. I'm sacrificing that. All my followers that are sacrificing that for their kids right now, the things that we're arguing about, are ridiculous. We're arguing about country songs, for Christ's sake. We're arguing about, like stuff on the news that shouldn't even be talked about. We got kids going to school right now. The only meal they get is when they get to school, they get breakfast and lunch. You mean I never went hungry? I didn't have the food that I want, but I never went hungry. But there's kids that are like, I did a thing, speaking out of school one time, I asked a kid what the best subject, and the kid told me lunch. And I just looked, I knew exactly where he's coming from. And the kids were laughing at it, but I knew where he's coming from. The kid he got food at lunch. But yet, all the things that we're worrying about, they're not even worth worrying about. All the things that kids are like killing and shooting each other, they're not valuing life. These are the things that we need to be helping and sharing through. You starting a foundation. People like my sister and people in small towns that are going out and feeding people. And are going out giving out book bags because they know the struggle is out there. But who's helping? You know what I mean? So we got to start networking that and branching it together.
And then those were the things that my parents put in me. It's always, help someone because you never know when you're going to need help. Always be caring. Don't do anything to or against anyone that you wouldn't want done for you. And and if you approach life that way, life is simple. I mean, your heart opens up you become a good person in the sense that you just try to make others' lives a little bit more comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
You may not be able to make their lives, extremely better,
right?
But you can make them a bit more comfortable. And if you can do that, the feeling that you get from that is worth more than a pound of gold.
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
All these things that you were just mentioning about, how organizations could get out there and do more. I'm a part of at least 3 or 4 organizations, and we do all these things in each of these organizations. So I spend a lot of my time out of the house doing volunteer work.
I try to do the same, because it's rewarding.
It is.
It's rewarding.
It is. And I was doing this. I've been doing this stuff for a long time. It's just something that makes you proud to get up every day. And when you get out there and you do these type of things, you can go to bed and feel good about yourself. Even if it wasn't your most productive day, it makes you feel good. You can lay your head down and you can rest easy at night.
Right. Well, hey, for everybody, Mike ain't gonna rest easy tonight. Mike right butt cheek right now is a little sore. I'm telling you, I beat him up on that golf course. I just had to throw that out there, man. Every chance I get, I gotta throw it out there.
Man, you'll do anything to win, though, man. You didn't have to throw that bag of mosquitoes on me, man. That wasn't cool.
Hey, everybody, if everybody don't know, Mike and Gene, I know Gene's watching this, on Gene Harris. Today, we golfed today, and Mike got skinned up today, by the way. We golfed this morning, and we golfed this afternoon, so we played 36 holes. And Brad Clayton came down, and Greg came down, guys from the Brotherhood, just to show Mike love and let him know that the Brotherhood of Warriors, brother, we're going to be here for you. We're going to support, raising hope as much as we can. But just for, city boy from Chicago, raised by country parents, by the way, and then a country boy from Georgia, we came together, and from instantly, I think me and you, as soon as I was talking trash, you was talking trash, we instantly became friends, a year ago now.
Yeah.
And, and it's a friendship that's going to last a lifetime. But knowing what Mike stands for and what Mike's trying to do, it makes it easier for me to all right, man, how do I support?
Yeah.
Where do I start? How do I help?
Yeah.
So for everybody watching this show now, website's Raising Hope. It's going to be at the end of the episode. We'll have it there. Click on it, donate it to it. Yeah. And then for, like I said earlier, anybody out there that are doing something similar to this, let's go ahead and try to collaborate. Let's get... Hey, Mike Park, he's easy to find. His internet or on the website, his email's there. There's phone numbers there. I've been to the website. You can donate. But, a lot of people are like, and I talk about this all the time, and me and Mike talked about this today. If somebody gave me $1 million tomorrow, would that change my life? I tell people all the time, no, it wouldn't. But it would change time.
Yeah, it would.
It would change a lot of time.
It would.
So the time I waste doing things, now I can hire that kid fresh out of college to do that.
Yeah.
So now I can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So what I tell people, donating is great, but what I ask any organization, like Mike just said, when I'm helping with an organization, first thing I look for is, where can I donate my time?
Yeah.
Because I might not have the money to donate, but if you tell me, hey Johnny, we're doing this on Saturday, can you come for an hour?
Yeah.
Why, yes I can.
Yeah.
Or I can come for 2 hours or 30 minutes or whatever. And it's just like we were talking about earlier with the tragedy, when somebody passed away in a family. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how people don't have time to get together. But what kills me, and my dad used to always say it, celebrate while you're living, is anytime somebody in my family passes away, I see cousins, I see family I haven't saw in years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you can come for that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, go to that funeral when everybody's sad, and then go back home. Mm-hmm. So guess what? That little bit of time that you can take on that day to come because somebody got hurt or killed or whatever, take that time while we're here and come and just celebrate and have a good time. My family, I will say, we're pretty good about that. We are pretty good about putting together cookouts, or as we call them, fish fries. You know what I mean? A box of chicken fall off the back of the truck.
Right.
We're going to have a cookout, So at the end of the day, what I challenge everybody now is, I challenge everybody, especially in inner cities, because you don't see the things you're telling me right now, the numbers that are on the internet. You don't see that in small towns, brother.
Yeah.
You look where your mom and dad came from, Arkansas. They didn't see that.
No.
My parents didn't see that.
No.
And just like Jason Aldean's songs, he's talking about try that in a small town.
Yeah.
You don't see those things in small towns.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to happen. It happens, but when it does happen, we're going to police that up real quick.
Yeah.
It's going to end.
Yeah.
You mean my sister and them at the little book bag giveaway, for the most part, nobody's just worried about a drive-by shooting, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Only thing you worry about there is some fat kid eating too many damn hot dogs and
Right.
getting sick. Now mama's mad at you,
Yeah.
or she didn't get, my baby didn't get a piece of cake or whatever, you know. But you're not worried about these things that are in the inner city. So my thing is this, I would love to see inner city, country living. Let's just blend all that together, man. Blend it together and see. And I'm not saying that country lifestyle is better than the city lifestyle, but let's blend that together to see where can we take that where kids actually have things to do.
Yeah.
You mean like they have all these, I challenge anybody out there, multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires, dude, where's that money going that I need a tax write-off? Hey, go build a metal building and say, one of my overall things, and I told you this today, I would love to build a building 24 hours a day. A kid can go there, he can eat hot dogs and hamburgers, all the milk and water he wants to drink, and he feels safe there. Girl or boy, they can come there anytime and feel safe and get a bite to eat. Because then I feel like, hey, you know what? I've done my part, I'm helping through sharing, and that kid, no matter where home is, no matter what's going on in your home, you got a place to go and eat.
Yeah.
One thing my dad told me, and then I'll let you elaborate, but we talked about this. One thing my dad told me when I was a child, when you get kids, one thing that's great about being a father is feeding your kids. Putting the roof over their head and feeding them. And as a young kid, I was like, did my dad go with some more country talk again?
Yeah.
But then, when I had my kids, and I realized they can walk in that cupboard and they might have a snack. It might not be the snack they want, but they got a snack.
Yeah.
Or before they go to school, I make sure they got something to eat.
Yeah.
As a father, that's one of the best feelings you're gonna ever have, is feeding your kids and knowing they got a safe house with a roof over their heads.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm challenging everybody out there on the show, helping through sharing, raising hope, all these different organizations out there. I understand people don't have the money. I get that. But your time is easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy to say,
Yeah.
all right, man, I'm donating a little time.
Yeah.
Because the sad part about it is people that say, I don't have the time to donate, you just watch this show for an hour.
Yeah.
That's an hour of your time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't watch my show, because I want you to watch it.
Yeah.
But guess what? You could have watched my show driving somewhere.
Yeah.
You could have killed two birds with one stone. Watched the show for 30 minutes, got there, worked for 30 minutes, drove back for 30 minutes. You spent an hour and a half. You watched a great podcast, best podcast out there. You watched a great podcast. You got a great story from Mike Parker here, and you got to go help for 30 or 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You killed three birds with one stone.
One stone, yeah.
And so at the end of the day, people just gotta, because how much time people spend on TikTok?
Yeah.
How much time people spend watching podcasts?
That's true. All you have to do is commit.
All you have to do is commit to it, man.
Just commit.
That's
Just
it.
commit.
That's it.
Just commit. And that's the message. If you just resolve within yourself, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to commit X amount of hours a month to volunteer work, whatever type of volunteer work that is.
Right.
As far as donations, if it's just $5, every little bit helps. If 400 people gave $5, that's what, $20,000?
That's $20,000.
It's a lot of money.
And the sad part about it is, here's what's crazy is, so I didn't want to put this out on the news, but on the podcast, Mike smoked Newports, right? I watched Mike smoke a whole carton of Newports today when I was beating him up, right? Them pars and them birdies just beating him upside the head. And Mike's like, man, I got to take a smoke. So I put mosquitoes on him. I do what I can to win. But the reason why I say that is, Mike bought what, two packs of cigarettes today?
2 packs of cigarettes.
$26. 26 bucks. So here's what I tell people.
4 packs.
4 packs, $26.
4 packs.
But what I tell people though is, I go home and I watch guys buy Black & Miles, and I watch guys buy beer or whatever. And I don't drink, but at the end of the day, I watch people buy things, and I get it. It's your money, you do what you want to do with it. But with me, what I try to do is, I donate a little bit here, donate a little bit there. If I donate to your organization, I'm going to donate to another organization. And then I try to give that away. Like, all right, this is what I'm donating.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's amazing how those things come back in blessings.
Yeah.
And I'm going to actually do an episode, that I got to do a quick episode of the podcast. I was in Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago picking up a car. Trailer broke down, turning into a gas station. And I told you, I probably should have killed somebody. For whatever reason, my hitch broke on the trailer. I have no idea. 2 random people stopped and helped me that didn't know me from Adam and Eve. One of the guys I judged when I saw him, he had tattoos all over, earring piercings, And when he gave me a ride, I got in his truck. He had a cross hanging from his rearview mirror. And he said, man, God was with you today. I said, you're absolutely right. And I felt bad. And I told him, I said, man, I want to apologize. I prejudged you because I never thought you would have been the guy that would have picked me up. Because he didn't fit that person that would help somebody. But the guy was totally helpful, helped me out. But the point I'm trying to get to is, it wasn't a donation of money. It wasn't nothing. It was his time. It was just his time. It was him saying, like you just said, I'm going to commit to help this young man. He gave me a ride. I went to Track Supply, got the part I needed, came back. And then another random guy, pulling the wrecker, backed up, slid underneath my trailer, lift my trailer up, backed him, let my trailer down. I can't remember his wrecking company, but I will do something to send a shout out to him so that hopefully help him get some business. Just phenomenal. Two good people doing a good deed. That's all it was, man.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes for this world to be better. If more people just do random acts of kindness, you know, and it doesn't have to be. It could be focused, you know, acts. Just find a cause that touches your heart or whatever. Concentrate on that and do whatever you can, you know, for that cause or whatever. And you know, if everybody did that, and if we had a little bit more of that, like we used to have, you know, in our communities or whatever, you know, this violence stuff. Well, you'll see it go away. Because it exploded, and now it's at a point where it's out of control, and we're scrambling, trying to figure out a way to, you know, get rid of it, to dissipate some of this stuff that we're going through, you know, but
it's not going to happen overnight, and one course of action is not going to cure it.
That's true.
But I tell you what, if everybody came together, and people start going, that kid right there just done it. That kid right there just did this. He just did that. And now law enforcement makes their job easier. They know where to go. We need cameras now. We need all that crap. Let's go right to the house, pick him up. We got witnesses, and this is what happened. It's that simple.
That's simple.
But now you got a village helping through sharing, or you got a village raising hope to make sure, like, hey, things that happen to Tierra don't happen. Because the sad part about it is, everybody that's watching this show right now, everybody watching this show, I can tell you right now, what happened to Mr. Parks right here can happen to any one of you guys. His daughter wasn't a target. His daughter wasn't in a gang. His daughter was a loving child, graduate, student, nurse, mom. She was doing all the right things in life, you know, and trying to help other people. Get out of her car and just take a random bullet that the cops are still searching for the killers now. It's like, come on, man. Like, when does this end? When does somebody step up and say, hey, I saw what happened. Let's, you know, reach out, because this man wants justice for his daughter. Her mother wants justice for her. You know, I want justice for her. Because you know what? If it was your daughter or your son, you feel the same way. You couldn't help but feel the same way. Like, all right, I want justice for my kids. Or how do we stop this? And the sad part about it is, I've been with Mike now for a few days, and Mike ain't just started doing acts of kindness. Mike ain't just started doing, you know, volunteering my time. Mike been doing this for a while. I've been doing this for a while. It is rewarding.
Yes, it is.
It is rewarding for people to say, hey, thank you for helping me. Hey, thank you for helping me change a tire. Thank you for buying my daughter a computer because I didn't have the money at the time. It's things like that right there, people, that, to me, that is what makes life worth living. You mean, like, that is the acts of kindness. Don't get me wrong, the materialistic stuff, the big houses, the expensive cars, that stuff come and go a dime a dozen. But at the end of the day, you want to know what really counts is when you lose somebody and you got 300 or 400 people showing up at a building, probably faces you don't even know or faces you don't even remember, because they were there to support you and to support who your daughter was. And like I've said on plenty of podcasts, my dad used to say, you die how you live how you die. And that's because the way you impact people and the way people perceive you and take you, that's how people show up for your funeral. That's how people go be there for your family in time of need. And that's what we need our communities to do now. Let's step up and let's help. It ain't that hard. Just look out the window and say, hey, I'm going to call your mama because you know you're doing wrong. That took you 2 seconds. Little Johnny right here got that phone call all the time. Don't call my daddy. You got that. Come on, man. You know, it's like
get you know, taken care of by the neighbors before I even got home. And then by the time I got there, my mom had already known, and I was getting a second one, you know. So, you know, that's just how we were raised.
So, again, y'all, you know, I ain't gonna take too much of Mike's time. Mike's gotta get on a flight tomorrow. I know he's tired. I know his body's sore. So I'm gonna give him a little motion. You know, hey, as old people would say, I got some Epsom salt, man. I'm gonna ring you back to Epsom salt, okay? But hey, y'all, it's been a pleasure having Mike in North Carolina for the last 3 or 4 days. He's coming back in September. We're going to do something else. But also, this is a golf ball Mike played with today. He's got his daughter's, logo on it.
Yeah.
Hey, explain that to everybody. I don't know if they can see it.
Well, they probably can't see it, but they could definitely see it on the website.
Yes, sir.
But it's just 2 praying hands with butterflies, because butterflies was her favorite. It's got a peace dove on it. It has her initials, and it's got the yin and yang symbol. And I just thought, putting all those things together, pretty much just captured what my daughter was about. So, that's how I came up with the logo.
So, anybody playing golf in North Carolina, I'm going to let y'all know, Mike lost about 3 dozen of these today. So y'all gonna see these, right? Hey, that's a collector's item. If anybody finds some of these, you find me, and I will give you $100 for this ball. Because this right here, I was skinning him up so bad today, he was losing them left to right. And for Callaway, I do play with some Callaway balls. I'm gonna say to Callaway, this guy's paying to get these balls printed, right? So what I'll say to Callaway right now, and I don't know if a Callaway representative is gonna see this or whatever, I hope they do. But I don't know what you pay for these balls. But what they represent is a young lady that, gave her life for no reason whatsoever, if you ask me, that was killed in gun violence in Chicago. So for the Callaway brand, I know you guys make a ton of money. For the golfers out there to use Callaway brand, please go to Raising Hope website.
It's orange because that's the anti-gun violence.
And that's the anti-gun violence color, which is orange. So Mike's doing everything he can to raise awareness. So let's do our part. All the Callaway golfers, Callaway reps. I know Callaway is probably a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
Reach out to Mike. He's getting these balls printed. And if nothing else, as many of them as he's losing, just give him. Callaway, just replace the balls for him. You know what I mean? Because the man got the beat down today. So let's definitely, because I want this to get bigger than what it is. Raising Hope, brother. I'm going to do everything I can to promote it. Yeah. So I'm going to definitely keep this ball here. So, and it'll stay here. And we'll definitely, I'm going to leave it right there for Miss Tierra. That ball will stay on it. It'll be on the JMFG podcast from now on. It'll be here. It'll be a part of every episode, brother.
Thank you,
and I just want to tell you, man, keep doing what you're doing.
You're a good man.
I love what you're doing. I'm trying, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, guys like you setting that bar high, so I'm just trying to do all I can to make sure I do my part, because I think I'm heading probably straight to hell anyways. But I know my dad there waiting, so I think I'm going to do all I can, brother. But hey, I appreciate you coming.
Yes, sir.
I love you, brother. If you need anything,
brother.
I'm a phone call away, brother.
All right.
That's going to be good stuff.
Thank you so much.